canales Wef.
Hello, good morning. Welcome again to the Women Empowerment Forum, Wef 2022, the Women Economic Forum. Thank you very much for being here with us on the second day of Experiences and Content. My name is Liliana Carranza, and during this morning I'll be with you during this event that we're broadcasting from Costa Rica for the whole world. Wef Costa Rica is here for the second time in our country, and you can follow us through www.soymujercostarrica.com and also through the platforms we have on YouTube and Facebook. Over there you will be able to find a simultaneous interpretation from English to Spanish whenever applicable. Wef Costa Rica 2022 is organized by Soy Mujer, All Ladies League, and Women Economic Forum with the cooperation of ALAS, which is the Association for Leadership and Social Promotion. But it is also the most important women network in Costa Rica. And we take advantage to thank Nuria Morin and Cristina Izquierdo from ALAS, who have given us an extraordinary support for this event. And we also greatly thank Betty and Grupo GESA for the priceless support to Wef Costa Rica 2022. Thanks to them, we are broadcasting from their studio here at Grupo GESA. And before beginning, we are going to thank the allied with friends and the companies that with their support we have been able to do this. And we started last week and yesterday with the content. So thanking Wholesome, Cadena Radial Costarricense, La República, Digital Simetría, BLP, Shift 506, Pfizer, Hospital Metropolitano, Hulbert Bolio Montero, Law Firm, Alma de Escalante, Prensa Ejecutiva, República Independiente, Bio Ayurveda, Lizeth Castro, Petra Magazine, Facturas Costa Rica, and Vanessa Ugalde Accounting Services. Yesterday, on the 23rd of February, we had the Sustainable Development, Education, and Leadership Axles. And with the different chats we had, you can find them in the section of videos of our Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel. To all our panelists, we thank you very much for your participation yesterday, and in advance, we thank all of those who are with us today. We will complete 71 panelists of first line, national and international level. Their profiles and the agenda, you can download it from soymujercostarrica.com webpage. Please remember, Wef is a movement, it's a nonprofit movement originated in India since 2015 with a spirit of cooperation, connecting more than 150,000 people in more than 150 countries in the world with several editions of this event. To begin with the second day, it is an honor to Harbin Arora, who is the president of India.
Namaste a todos. Soy Harbin. Hola. Felicidades a todo ese bello, maravilloso, genial equipo unido que está haciendo toda esta magia al recrear el Foro Económico de Mujeres en Costa Rica. Esta es la primera edición en el año 2022 y estén atentas para la segunda. Más adelante en este año también. Y quiero agradecer a todo el equipo organizador, a mi hermana Bernardita, a todos los que están allá ayudando a mis hermanas con la organización, los patrocinadores y todo el equipo que está poniendo en marcha la más bella edición posible allá en la tierra del pura vida. Estoy ansiosa por ver la deliberación en esta maravillosa edición de Wef Costa Rica. Felicidades a todos y que Dios los bendiga.
Thank you very much, Harbin Arora. And yesterday we had great energy, synergy. And we begin with this message that's very special from Rachel Araya, who today will give us this word of energy.
Les quiero compartir algo. Yo no sabía que era el empoderamiento hasta que vi a mi mamá. Ella es una gran esposa y una gran mujer. Siempre lucha por conseguir sus metas. Tiene muchos proyectos, tiene muchos sueños y siempre los cumple. Siempre está ahí apoyándonos. Y por eso, a todas ustedes, mujeres que están viendo, les regalo ese regalo. Pongan cuidado presentes. Dios creó edición de lujo cuando las hizo. En la Nación Unida vamos que la mujer valía, por nuestro derecho, por la verdad del resto, fue por nuestro, soy fuerte como roble, no me vence la tormenta de hierro, esta belleza, pero todo lo puedo, soy de carne, soy de hueso, a mí no me tocan con el pétalo de una rosa. Eres la frescura que brota de manantiales, fuerte como la roca y grande de todos los seres, eres la que emana la vida. Hoy te rindo homenaje y luchan a muerte para dar. Brindo por esos seres que son seres esenciales, se llaman mujeres.
Thank you, Rachel, for this energy. Very good things are waiting for us today. It is really good to see women like Rachel, the promise to have a different Costa Rica. So let's begin, because today our agenda is very varied. So we will begin today with the empowerment and innovation for women. And for that, I am pleased to introduce you to the panelists, resilience and opportunities, how to give power to your voice when you're the only one on the table. For that, we have today Adriana Arroyo, who's the marketing manager for Grupo GESA, and we really thank the place they are giving us to broadcast. And we have Gisela Sanchez, who's the Regional Director of Corporate Affairs and Sustainability at Bacromatic Central America. And we also have Marianela Quiroz, gamer and the leader for community, League of Legends Costa Rica, but she is also the creator of content, streamer, and gamer as a profession. We will see what that is about and how that is growing in Costa Rica. We have Rina Maria Perla, who's the leader of the Women Committee of Pfizer Latin America. She is an MD. And we also have the moderator, Vanessa Lin, who's the director of Continuity Family Business Consulting, who has the floor and the cameras from now. Thank you very much. Good morning. It is a pleasure to listen to Rachel. That's an injection of caffeine That's a beautiful presentation from her. I will review that and see if I learn it from heart. Well, it is the second opportunity that I am invited to this wonderful event. And yesterday I had the opportunity to connect, and it is a great effort with my friends Loredana and Bernardita. I know they have worked really hard to make this dream come true. I would like to take advantage to welcome these four colleagues, the panelists today, to share experiences on resilience, and we will have the opportunity to listen to their voices and to listen to the colors of their voices since the beginning they began their professional career. To continue with the modality, Wef asks us, I will give you a little summary of myself, and then I will invite our guests to share their roles to generate conversation. All right? Let me tell you that I began in the corporate world and multinational companies since I was very young. So that made me take on roles with a lot of time, dedicating time and effort since I was very young. Since I was 20 years old, almost 21, I also had two children. It was a very different time back then, but now I am in the consultancy in family businesses, and I have to do with the corporate affairs, planning of associations, generation transition, patrimony, generations, and enterprises. And that is what I do now. And additionally, I participate in board of directors, leading the compensation committees and governance. Yesterday, Laura, President, explained to us that the empowerment of women has been slower, but she said that the huge challenge has always been and is still the stereotypes, social stereotypes. And she's given us the good news that we're advancing, not as much as we would like to, but there are more policies and better work conditions and better practices that are being implemented. So nowadays, this has been a trial by fire for all of us, those of us dealing with our professions and the life surrounding our lives, our children, our families, our partners. And we have had 2 years of trial by fire. And I have to recognize that the participation of women in directories is this pending task. I know that the chairmen, the presidents of board of directors, they know there's still a long way to go, but it's still a pending task. Even though this is being visualized, I would say that it is very difficult to have these spaces open. So these directories are inherited, and many times the companies need to attract retired executives so they can generate better image. So the access to these chairs is something difficult. Let me tell you that on my end, I have 3 children, 3 daughters who are my pride, and these are the people who are challenging my paradigms constantly, and I learn from them every day. And to tell you that when I look back regarding this topic that we're dealing with, that the shades of my professional and personal life have been with different shades, different colors, from soft melodies, cha-cha-cha without any rhythm, like I say, something that we're stepping on, or merengue, well danced. But you would tell me, isn't it life the greatest teacher, putting you in places where you're ready to learn and to forget the old learning paths as many times as needed? Just like this topic, if we are the only ones expert on the topic, the new one, the prettiest one, the one who's not pretty, the one with experience, the one without experience at all, with academic courses, the one who doesn't, the one who's the only one not from the family. So here it is where asking ourselves, what makes us unique? What makes us that in the team or the task table or wherever I am, that I have that uniqueness, as they say in English. So would that be something that's helping us or not helping us to have our fears coming out, or insecurities and anxieties? I don't know. But another topic I wanted to share is how much is the tone of our voice influencing what we do. As you can hear, my voice is not in my strongest suit. I would have loved to be a singer or to have a great voice, but I will tell you in a while how life has been interesting to me because of the tone of my voice. But I began, like I said, very young, and with a voice of experience together with impatience associated to youth, making us have these unexpected reactions. But I would like to tell you about the voice of persistence. And I would like to share a story in those dances like cha-cha-cha without rhythm, like I said. I got a call and they said, Vanessa, there's this opportunity. I was 24 years old. I was managing an area, the area to a country level, and they said, there's this an opportunity to regional level. You will love it. This is an interesting position. And I said, okay, I will be very happy, but I have a special situation going on right now. I was coming out of chemotherapy and some radiotherapy sessions, and they asked me, well, everything was on paper, so he was taking a look at the file, and the one he had was different from the one who was bald with a cortisone and all. And I said, I don't have hair, but I'm the same. And I remember so embarrassed, and obviously I tried that. The topic of my health was not the axle of my conversation for that interview, and despite he was truly embarrassed about this, I tried not to fall into this conversation, and I said, look, I'm going to be healthy again. I want this position, and I have studied the different geopolitical conditions of the countries, and I demonstrated that I prepared myself for this interview. And I said, you'll see, in a couple of days we will talk. And then we had the process started, and I moved forward. We had to go to the United States. I got the position at the end, but the story of resilience is not only there. It was a business full of engineers, and it was a place where I was different because I was sick. But sometimes I said, do I wear a wig or just a scarf on my head? How do I handle myself like this? It was full of challenges. I had bullying going on. Despite the organization was first world organization, the culture was still needing the space to handle diversity. But let me tell you, my voice was faulty sometimes because somehow my voice didn't come out. It was a time where PowerPoint was beginning, so we had some slides, and I knew that my voice was faulty, and if they asked me a question or I asked a tricky question, so then give me a chance to drink some water or some honey to help my throat. But many times I had those lapses, and some of my bosses said, okay, let's move on with another topic. And I was furious about that. No, give me just a moment. I have some cough drops or something in those spaces. But let me tell you, I had to make an inventory of my strengths. I am good doing this. What happens if I fail at this? What's my plan B? My plan B in expressing my ideas. And that's how I came together with a series of tools, because at the time I had to lead multidisciplinary groups. I had the opportunity to do that. When I listen to the different activities they have, I'm so happy. So I just wanted to share with you this brief story that, to me, if I look back, makes me feel really good. And if I look into that deeper, I have no words to thank my mentors, those people who were my role models and are still inspiring me. After telling you about my experience, I would like to have this order. I would like you to tell us about your experiences and your voices. So we will have Adriana, Gisela, Marianela, and Rina. So I'll open the spaces for you to share your experience with us. Thank you. Well, good morning. I'm Adriana Arroyo. I'm the marketing manager for Grupo GESA. I lead a creative and big group here in GESA, and I share the managerial table with other colleagues for several years. We have taken on this challenge, developing some brands with more than 17 years of experience in the market of many kinds. Since very young, I started working. My mother gave me some words. She said, Adri, I take you up to here for the study. Godspeed, go to the university. And then I began there. I just wanted to develop my professional part, and I leaned on marketing, and I began in this process, and little by little I developed, and I discovered that I had other abilities, and I always had two jobs, and I love until today having different tasks. I work with consultancy and other things, and I love learning new things. And during the 17 years, I had the opportunity to meet very important people to professional level and family, spiritual level, and friends. But there were two people helping me. I had this wonderful woman who was with me to a level of extra work. And I also met another interesting person, another boss who gave me the strength to be a leader and to make other decisions. That little by little, I understand why I am here. And I had these situations in life that I had to face. Just like you, Vanessa, I had the opportunity to take on a leading position when I was very young and feel ready to develop in this area. And I developed in several departments until the moment I felt like I can do more. I want to do more. And because of one or another situation, they said, no, up to here. And here I make a decision saying, I can do this by myself, and this is the moment to move forward and to be the entrepreneur. I worked by myself for 3-4 years in the pharmaceutical area as well, and I had the experience in retail. And many people trusted me at the professional level, and little by little, along the way, I met and I learned different things, and I developed myself in the professional level by myself. And until today, I had this opportunity for the pandemic. Thank God. I am a true believer, and he moves important pieces, and he helped me prepare before the pandemic with the Grupo GESA. And this is a very beautiful experience together with many other people. And I've been feeling really good. And the fact of meeting people along the way, supporting you, friends, people that you met to a work level, but then after that, you create this friendship and guidance relationship. So thanks to this people, you grow and develop yourself to a professional level. And I believe that throughout this road, you learn a lot. And what type of leader you would like to be, or what type of leader you don't want to be. And the support that you get, I believe it has been really nice. So all this baggage that I've had makes me a better professional, and personally and professionally. But just to tell you, to a personal level, I am active, super active. I am active. I am thinking, observing my environment, knowing things. So I believe I'm brave as well. And thanks to all these people behind me and the support of my family, I consider myself, I am grateful with life, grateful to God of what I have, and super happy to be here with you. And I have the opportunity to meet Rina as well. Independently, we have a relationship through my sister as well. So it is really good to be here with you. I hope we have a nice morning. Thank you. Thank you, Adriana. We will give the floor to Gisela. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Vanessa, and it's a pleasure to share with Adriana, Marianela, and Rina here. Just telling you a little bit about myself. I am 48-year-old woman with two sons, almost 19, and the other one 16 years old. They're studying, and actually, I would like to share with you this road that I had traveled during this 48 years of life. I come from a very poor family, and not only as a woman, but as a human being, limited my life. Some opportunities of beginning. I went to the public school, public high school, with the level of English, which was almost none. Additionally, the mathematics part was very basic, but I always had within many dreams of improvement. I believe those glass ceilings women have because of vulnerability, they don't have the starting conditions that affects them, but that is something you can break. And I said, no, I'm going to study engineering. I had some basic knowledge of mathematics, and also after studying engineering, and aside from that being years ago a thing for men only, after that I decided that I wanted to study a master's degree in the United States to improve my English level, and applied to the best universities. I asked for scholarships, and luckily I had those opportunities. That's the first message I would like to give you. Women need to have opportunities, number one, to shine and to take on this potential. In my professional career, I've been in different places. I made a decision, very important decision, when I was very young, that I wanted to be a mother. So That is the capital when it's a deadly sin for a woman who wants to be a professional one. And it was an aggressive and savage decision. I left my job to take care of my son, Sebastian. I was a consultant for 5 years and a half against all odds, saying that I was going out of the market, that I was not coming back. I started working at FIFCO, a great company, in the corporate affairs and sustainability. I was there 13 years, and 6 months ago, I started at the regional office. It's a bank with 19,000 employees, and I am reporting to the CEO. My position is privileged, very small, with one more woman, working with Jessica Mora. And I've faced several challenges, and such is that if you have the essence, the feminine, the women, this woman essence, and one of the errors women make at the beginning of the corporate lives or professional lives is if you're the only one woman on the table, you try to be similar to men. I try not to cry. I try not to express my feelings. I try to look like a man. And from the learnings that I've had is the importance and to take advantage of our feminine essence. We cannot be good as men, but we can be extraordinary professional women, and we have a lot to give to complement men. And that essence and that capability of shining with our own light and our own vulnerability of women, I believe it is very important. And I want many people to see that. And we try to think that we don't need the flexibility to comply with all the important roles to be professional, to be a wife, to be a mother, to be a partner. And I believe the essence, flexibility, that we have to take action. And I believe to take those opportunities into account. Women are very resilient. I love working with women and sharing with you part of the learning experiences that I had. Thank you very much. Now we move on to Marianela. Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be taken into account to be part of this great, important space for women in Costa Rica and the world. And one of the reasons I am very happy to be here is that I am a gamer. The video game life, this is something that in Costa Rica is growing. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be a veterinarian, doctor, many things. But then what I've had the opportunity to do in the gaming world is amazing. Now, I probably would like to study, I don't know, public speaking, to become the host of video game events or something like that. So, just like my colleagues have mentioned, I am in a world that has been a man's world. And men with names and important positions. So I'm very happy to be here and talk to those women at home, thinking that it is just a hobby, because that is what they say sometimes. So it is not that way. And I also would like to thank a couple of to be here. Felipe Montoya, who's the first person giving me this space. I was not even looking for this space. I started as a cosplayer, dressing as anime or video game characters, and he said that he liked the way that I was behaving and offered me to be host for a couple of events, and that was something that I liked, that I loved, and I escalated from being a host to playing and to attending festivals with dubbing celebrities, and I never had the opportunity to think about that. I just took step by step, taking the opportunities, not only to be learning, but to growing in this industry. For those of you, is contacts. That's an important thing to open the doors for you and to accomplish what you're looking for. Now, what happens with this men's world? The spaces are very little. So we see that, okay, she had the space, now I don't have another space. How can I do that, right? So that is something that has been improving throughout the years, and despite being a competition for the space, we have to support ourselves to open more spaces for women to get in. I have several companies with women creating and designing, and there's the League of Legends, there are different leagues of video gamers, and many colleagues have been able to get the spotlight and to make a name on their own. There are two women I would like to mention that I am inspired by nationally, Sofia Parra and Bel, who are representing in international leagues, representing Costa Rica. So that is what they're doing now, and those are the opportunities. Now that Vanessa is mentioning what happened with cancer, I am beginning. Thank God it's not aggressive, but I was afraid of this making me weaker. They scare you. With the illness, I thought it was something that I was going to step out, but you have to fight. And I believe it's something that's the country that I have the resilience, the strength, and the power to not be or scarf or hat. I was asking some colleagues, what do I do? Do I wear a wig? And they said, whatever you feel most comfortable with. It is you. You're not a wig, you're not a scarf. So that opened my eyes. I am not my illness. I am not my mistakes. I am what I learn and what I believe I am. And physically, I am Marianela Quiroz. I am a gamer. I'm a person. I love this world, and that is what's opening all the roads for me to have a voice for women. Now, when we talk about this a little bit, I'll give you more details, but thank you very much for giving me the space. Marianela, I would have loved to be there to give you a big hug. I actually, I believe that we should stop talking here because everything that you have said is so true. And people like you, to me, in my personal case, makes me feel pride seeing you so strong and brave in the video game world. I know nothing about video games and no one about video games, but it's a pleasure to meet you. I sent you a big hug and kiss from distance. No wig, no scarf represents you. You are you. Thank you. And now, let's talk to Rina. Rina, we listen to you. Thank you very much. No doubt, the definition of resilience may differ from the person and the context, but in general terms, because of the stories that we have heard and that we have shared, I believe resilience is the capability of being fine even though things are not fine. I'm Rina Perla, and I'm more than thrilled to be here with you. Just like any other human being, throughout my life, I've faced different challenges, very different ones. For example, to begin from scratch at 30 years old, a new work career in the pharmaceutical business because I had to stop being a surgeon. Then, 12 years ago, in a new country, even though this change implied sacrifices and changes in my personal life as a single mom and a head of household. 5 years ago, I had to learn again to walk and to be self-sufficient, to do simple things like combing my hair because I had a stroke. And 2 years ago, in the middle of the pandemic and being abroad, I overcame the ICU after a spine fracture after an accident, and many other things that I can tell you about, but I'm not going to take your time. The question has always been why, what for instead of why. Resilience has been the result of listening to your inner voice, to follow my instincts and adapting to situations very fast with agility and keeping the optimism. As a result, I have been able to reinvent myself once and again. And I am here. I am convinced that the passion for my family and my job to deliver the best of myself as a human being and what moves me forward is the possibility of leaving a positive legacy to my child and those surrounding me. And I would like to invite you to something that probably would have asked ourselves. What's making a leader resilient? It looks like optimism because it's the capability of the leader to set the pace in crisis times and adaptability. The resilient leader supports their team to adapt to those obstacles that are unexpected, and agility to empower others to this continuous change that we have to face. So, listening to my colleagues and their wonderful stories they're sharing, I wonder, is it possible to capture the women leadership that's resilient in the organizations? It looks like so. Not only because we have heard this from these fantastic women before me, but also according to the report from the summit of KPMG International, 87% out of the 1,300 women surveyed, they identify themselves as resilient because they recognize that change is unavoidable and they will face setbacks that are going to be constant. 46% of those women who are leaders, they mentioned that keeping their perspective and their sense of personal purpose, just like those mentioned before me, help them wake up every day, and they didn't think twice in readjusting the way they see things. In my experience, and after 50 years of age and more than 25 as a professional, I believe resilience is the attitude to change and to be aware of strengthening self-confidence. And what I can tell you after listening to all those wonderful stories is that to give power to our voice, we have to listen to ourselves, because empowering yourself begins with strengthening the knowledge of our own strengths and our areas for improvement. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rina. Actually, just like Gisela said, well, I have a tear here in my eyes because listening to the stories, I feel and I'm impressed about the honesty with your stories. And time flies. We have 18 more minutes to go. So I would like to generate this conversation among ourselves in a way that we could talk about that unique part. Rina was mentioning the importance of of knowing ourselves. Marianela was talking about creating spaces that we cannot fight for, those spaces, it's not a competition, though it's still a competition still, because they're predetermined. And in the collective imagination, I have to replace this chair with a woman because that's the quota, and that's a change that we have to make. Gisela was mentioning about vulnerability and to seizing opportunities. Adriana was mentioning also about the importance of taking on challenges and to prepare yourself. So listening to this experiences, the common thread is the drive, the drive of improving ourselves, the will of stepping up and moving forward. So I would like to generate this provoking question. What is making us unique? What do you consider unique in your species and your story, let's say, so you could move forward in your personal and professional projects? So let's continue very quickly with Adriana, our host from HESA. Yes, analyzing this little by little, you understand what am I good for with these abilities aside from what I'm doing here. I can do this or that, or I could do this or that, supporting my colleague and understanding how I can develop this, because I was mentioning this in another interview that it's not a gender issue, it's an issue of talent. And the talent is in managing a project as big or small as it is, doing it in the constant training, education. We're not stopping learning. That person who's comfortable and doesn't study or learn anything is like dying, I believe. When we meet new people, the science is in knowing how I can develop myself in a new ability. In my case, I would say that we have to seize that feminine essence. Studies say it. Brain architecture and hormones gives us advantages above men. We have the web thinking, which is the capability of thinking as a web with multiple perspectives. Men are good in going in depth, but we can see things long term, and the brain flexibility and the capability, the natural capability of speaking makes us good. But one of the fundamental issues is empathy and the capability of creating networking. So I believe that if we take advantage of all that inherent talent of being a woman, and if we have the right people who are our mentors, I believe we've had men and women who are mentors opening doors like for us. I have to mention Roberto Ortavia, who was the rector in NCAE, and he opened many doors, professional doors for me. If we have that, if I take advantage of that feminine essence, that makes us special. And when we have a woman in a team being the only voice and her voice is heard, will have an impact that's positive, independently if it is a company, a person in the government, or NGO. I believe we have to learn to dream big and not to hide that feminine essence and to seize that as much as possible. Thank you, Gisela. Marianela? I'm sorry, I was doing my thing, but yes, I believe the same. I agree with Adri, as she mentioned, at the end, you know the talents and what you're good at because you know what you're not good at as well. But my idea was to be a graphic designer and then in publicity. So I tried that, but with all the opportunities there, I want to do many other things I feel more comfortable with, and I feel happy. And people are telling me, you're doing great, you're amazing, I am inspired by you. So those things make you feel comfortable and you feel that is your place, and there you can know about yourself a lot more and to improve that ability. Even with all these things, the most important thing is to do something that you love, because you design houses and you're good at it, but you don't like them. It is going to show, and you're not going to be able to create that spotlight for people to see you if you don't nothing. So look for something you feel comfortable with, something that makes you wake up every day to do it. And you're going to see that men, women, you can do that. It's the talent you're going to show, and nobody is going to doubt that. Thank you, Mariela. And we close with Rina. Well, actually, listening to all of you powerful women, I can conclude that we all have this possibility of setting this vision, to have this long-term vision to our teams, our families, and those people around us. But not only to give that vision, but to empower those with us in this process to execute this vision. And another thing that no doubt is essential for this conversation is the continuous learning. Just like I believe continuous education and to forget old learnings are essential for good learning, for good leaders in the organization and leaders in life as well. I believe women, we have this perception, this leadership essence to serve. And that service is to help everyone else, our teams and those surrounding us, and to identify not only those obstacles on the road, but also to help each other to overcome those. And women, we have this need to take on action. We not only have this vision, but we are clear on our goal. We're action people. And this action, no doubt, starts with the beginning. So we have to start a new career, new interest, new position by starting. So listening to all of you, I can conclude that orientation, the impact beyond the result. It's not only reaching a goal, reaching a number, but what's the impact that we're going to create, the legacy that we will have after cementing these plans in the organizations and in our personal lives. So this vision, like mentioned before, to work in networking, to work in this network. Why? Because nobody can do something like that by their own, on their own. And as a team, the impact of this objective is bigger. Thank you very much, Rina. And reaching the last minutes, I believe that we are very, that goes beyond gender. As professional, we can provide to the team, to the strategy, and how our intelligence, starting with ourselves, having the inventory of our skills, understanding that we have to learn and we have to forget old learning, working on our self-love, recognizing our essence, creating confidence, credibility. The list is huge. Those are a series of attributes that these wonderful women with me have been very kind to share their experiences. It's a pleasure to meet you all, and I am waiting for the third edition. Maybe we can repeat this experience, Gisela. We are repeating today, so we expect another round. And it's been a very interesting chat today. listening to your wisdom, Rina. You have given us a great lesson how to step up. And Marianela, we are supporting you all the way from here. And I believe Adriana had shown us persistence and preparation. And Gisela had reminded us about the importance of vulnerability. Vulnerability is something she experienced for many years, and now, fortunately, we can show ourselves vulnerable. We can show our essence. So it's a pleasure to be part of this team, and thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here with us. After listening to these wonderful women, it is impossible not to identify ourselves with their experiences, but also it is great to identify some elements that can help us in our lives. So we thank all of them. We are at Wef Costa Rica 2022. It's an event that this year we have it under the motto, I am a woman generating change for a sustainable and united world with the transforming power of love and wellness. And that is why, before continuing with Wef Costa Rica 2022, we cannot leave aside the dramatic situation the world is facing. After yesterday, we heard the news of Russia and Ukraine as we feared a massive attack, massive attack, convinced that war will never be the answer to any conflict. From WEF, the petitions for the international community to find a dialogue way to allow avoiding this war. Humanity doesn't deserve this. Jean Schroeder, the U.S. psychiatrist in Mission Million, said, if it was up to women to solve conflicts, wars wouldn't exist. That is why the voice of women in critical moments of history can make a difference. We believe this is one of them. From hope and with faith that kindness can be essential, we ask for voices, forces, energy, and spirit to be joined, to give space to reason and take a peaceful way out. To continue with these panels we have prepared for, we will have this block, the foundation of women empowerment, sorority circles, support, and women energy networks. This panel will be conducted by a dear colleague, Spanish periodist, journalist Daniel Suarez. He is the founder, associate, and CEO of multimedia platform Noleo, ticaspoderosas.com as well. We will have the participation of Andrea Leñero. She's the delegate and designer of socks for the campaign Different but Equal. And we also have Karin Rodriguez, who is the Associate Director of Administration and Finance, Tecnoplast from Argentina. She's the Director of Women of Economic Forum, Colombia, 2022. And with our panel, we have Luigi Valdez, who is a congressman, expert. He's a speaker, expert in innovation, strategic business, and leadership trends. We also have at Wef Costa Rica 2022, Mayela Rojas, who's the sub-general manager of Grupo Mutual. And yesterday, they announced from now on, she will be the general manager. So our congratulations to you. And she's the third vice president of the board of directors of the Trade Chamber of Costa Rica. And we have an athlete. We love her and very known in Costa Rica, Yocasta Valle. She's a professional boxer and world champion. Here we leave you with this group of extraordinary women who will be moderated by Daniel Suarez. Thank you, Liliana. First of all, our support to the civil population in Ukraine. We hope this conflict is solved very soon. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome in my panel guests and the participants with us. So in a moment, we will talk to Andrea Leñero, Yocasta Valle, Luigi Valdez, and Karin Rodriguez, and Mayela Rojas. Let's talk about sorority, which is a word that it is defined as a link of solidarity among women with this motto of supporting women facing the patriarchy. And sorority is also questioning the rivalry of women, vindicating the solidarity to get social change. Is the political solidarity among women. Just like experts say, one woman has the power, but together they have an impact, social and in the world of business. So after this, allow myself to introduce myself. I'm Daniel Sueras. I am Spanish. I'm a journalist. I am 48 years old. I came to Costa Rica in 2006. I married a Tica woman. I have a Tica daughter, and thanks to them, I am here. They made me see with the different vision how to face the world of women. In 2019, from Nolio, we launched Ticas Poderosas website with the vision of gender. With Costa Rican women's stories, let me tell you, we had these stories, made a comic book that is for little girls to learn, and it's launched today, actually. So we begin with Andrea Leñero. She's the representative and designer of socks for the campaign Different but Equal. She works at the Museo de los Niños and in the foundation Yo Puedo. ¿Y vos? Andrea, please tell us about your experience. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation to this forum. And thank you for inviting me to this event, which is very important for me. I would like to tell you about my life. And my name is Andrea Leñero. I'm almost 30 in June the 4th, and I was born with Down syndrome, and I had a problem with my heart. When I was born, I started with physical therapy, speech therapy, and physical therapy, helping me a lot. And also, I would like to tell you as well that when I started studying at the Lincoln High School, and I learned English from my professors, and they treated me with the utmost respect, and my classmates as well. They treated me really nice, and I feel really happy and fulfilled. And when I finished high school, I had this special education professor who helped me a lot and supported me. All women support me in everything I need. And I also have 2 jobs at the Children's Museum for almost 10 years now. And in March, I will have 4 years at the foundation Yo Puedo y Vos. And sorority among women is very important to give. For example, the director of the museum is a woman, and my mom first. She supports me all the time. She's been with me, and she is looking for the best for me. And I have the director of the museum is a woman, and the director of the foundation helping me a lot, who's a woman as well. And I have a group of friends, girlfriends, with disabilities. And I'm very happy. I have a lot of work. I feel fulfilled, happy, and I am happy to be part of this forum. This is very important to me. Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Now we will talk to Luigi Valdez. Luigi Valdez, he is the speaker, expert in innovation, strategic business and leadership trends. He's the author of 11 books about that. So Luigi, good morning. Thank you very much for being here with us. Tell us a little bit about your personal experience, okay? Thank you very much for the invitation. Greetings from Mexico. I'm in Mexico, beautiful Mexico, dear Mexico, as we say. I have 11 books published, and from the books that I handled, many were ahead of their time. And I said that knowledge was the new source of business, and that was proven 8 years ago when Apple surpassed the oil companies. And we started realizing that knowledge is changing. I have 3 children, but let me tell you, my daughter Isabela. Can you hear me now? Okay. I have 3 children, but what catches my attention as well, I have 2 children in the university in having 7th grade and 6th, and they're working at their companies without finishing their degree. In the past, we were waiting for them to graduate from the university, and now they're hired. So I work at innovation, and we developed this methodology, which is the 7-phase dice, and this was a model of innovation. And thanks to this methodology, we traveled through Mexico within this entrepreneur women model, where we help them to creating business, understanding what business was to creating business for personal growth and financial freedom, which was very important. But with this crisis, we were forced to getting into digital world. The digital world was there, but the crisis made us get in. Now we are broadcasting from the digital world. The digital world came. So when talking about men and women who are entrepreneurs, let me ask you this question, which is the most important question that you have to ask yourselves, is what is giving you passion? What would you love the most in the world? What is it what you can do 20 hours a day? And the second question, can you live out of that? Can you make a living out of that? 3 yoga teachers who had 2,000, 3,000 followers in YouTube, they ended up having 4 million followers in YouTube because of the pandemic, and they said, I love this. So many cases where they are passionate about doing something and they found a way to make a living out of that. So that's the best gift they could find, and doing as they can live from there. I have my books published, and we have 2 digital books, and I would be very happy to send to you if you want, for leadership and for innovation. Yes, passion is fundamental in all of this. Now we move on to talk to Mayela Rojas. Well, first of all, congratulations for that new position, to be the new general manager for Grupo Mutual. Aside from that, Mayela is the president of Businesswomen at the Chamber of Commerce in Costa Rica. So Mayela, congratulations. Good morning. About your personal experience. First of all, I am in solidarity with the population of Ukraine. Very sad because of the setback for women over there, but I send good vibes. I am a human being, happy of being a woman. I am the eldest of 8 children, with the example of a mother who took us, who raised us, and I have an 18-year-old woman who's my daughter, and 30-year-old who are wonderful. And I am a facilitator. I like to facilitate things for people around me. I I've been at Grupo Mutual for the last 35 years. I've been the number 30 associate. We are the fourth conglomerate for investment insurance, and this is a Grupo Mutual bank, and I had the opportunity for this company. Well, it has a program for opportunity, equality and opportunity. So this gives me a chair in the chamber in the business women program with the objective of working, creating opportunities to reduce the economic gap between men and women. And throughout my life, I've realized that about the importance of sorority, the importance of this, men and women who are opening doors for things to happen. And we're convinced that we have to play this game, all of us. 50% of the population cannot just be the spectators. So all of us have to play this game. Why? Because of the family, the company, the country, and for an equal world with equal opportunities for everyone. In my trajectory, the personal and work-wise, I have found an amount of men who are important, and they are willing to open those doors to make things happen. And I've always told myself, and I've always thought about myself as an optimist, and I know that everything has a solution. So that has been something important, giving me peace of mind to take on small challenges and the biggest ones, because when we give our best effort, we feel this calmness that makes us feel good. So thank you very much for inviting us to participate in this forum, and success. I followed this, and it's been wonderful. Thank you very much, Magella. Now we move on to the world of sports. We will talk to Yocasta Valle. She is a professional world champion of boxing. Yocasta, thank you very much for being here with us today, with the audience. So tell us about your experience. Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. It's great to be here at this forum and sharing with wonderful women. I admire you. And my experience as boxer, which is a man's world as well, it's not an easy road. I believe that everything begins from the education of our parents. And I said, my father took me to boxing, and he said, this is boxing, but it is not for women. And I said so to myself, and I said, I don't think I can be able to win a fight. I wouldn't. And he said, yes, if a man can do it, you can do it. A woman can do it even better. So he made me change my perspective, and I won my first fight, and I said, wow, am I that strong? Am I that capable? I was very little and skinny. I always got bad reviews from my colleagues, from my friends, and they said, that's not sport for women. For a woman, they're going to knock you out. You're very small, you're very skinny. But you know what? With the support from my father, a man, obviously my mom was supporting me, but she was afraid as well. But my father said, Yoka, you can do it. Don't listen to those bad comments. Get motivated by those bad comments. And then I said, yes, I want to make a difference. I know this is a sport dominated by men, but it can be dominated by women too. And as of today, believe you me, it has changed a lot. From 7, 8 years ago that I've been in boxing up to now, little girls come to me and they say, Yocasta, I want to be a boxer. It is really nice to feel that love and that positive example to future generations. And Naomi, my sister, she is 16 years old, and she got into boxing as well. And it is something that makes me proud to have that support. And at the end, boxing is more visible for women. We want equality in the economic conditions. It is difficult, but it is not impossible. I have to continue working hard every day for future generations to have it easier. That is what I want. It wouldn't be that hard as it was hard for me years ago. Now for my sister and the other girls who want to do it. That's why the word saying that we have to be supportive among ourselves. For women telling me, Joka, I want to be just like you. That motivates me to do things better so they can do it in an easier way. So I feel pride of being a woman, given this example that it can be done. If I can do it, all girls can do it. They can make their dreams come true. Thank you, Yocasta. Of course, one of the pioneers in women boxing in Costa Rica, opening that path for women. And talking about trailblazing women, we also have Karin Rodriguez from Argentina. She was the director of Women Economic Forum 2022 in Colombia, one of the first ones in Latin America. And she's the director of Signoplast, which is a company producing elements for a corporate image. As far as I would like to know with you and talk to you something that I hope we're getting out of this pandemic times affecting women the most than men in the working environment from the companies. Have you worked in that sense? Have you tried to protect a little bit on that end? Hi, good morning. Well, first of all, let me thank Wef for the invitation to participating, and Bernie Rodriguez, who's a friend of mine. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And yes, actually, at this moment, we are coming out as a world out of this pandemic. And yes, participating in this is a topic I'd like to talk on. I believe the important thing is the networking and how networks potentiate us, because in the pandemic, personally, I have to say that being in networks and working with networks is easier. I am a member in Argentina, in the province of Buenos Aires, at an executive committee. And during the pandemic, we had Red Mia, a women network for the industry in Argentina, because there was this need of joining all women in the industry to give us elements and to cooperate with what we have and the industries they have for the rest. At some point, there was this different alliance, and in the pandemic, we saw that it was necessary, it was fundamental to have networks, so it was very important to have all this. And everything that we had, because one read a decree and then the other one had a summary of the text because you didn't have enough time to keep up with the notifications worldwide and in the country. But the fact of being all together working towards the same is that we are better. But I actually believe that the main topic goes in that sense, that we have to be generous, just like like they said, we have to be leaders. We have to realize that that one sitting next to me don't have the same experience, the same knowledge. So we have to give them a small push to do something. And in this environment for the Women Economic Forum is for that. It's a wonderful thing, potentiating us to help give this. And right before the lockdown began, I went to Egypt for the Global WEF, and I had Harbina Aurora, the president of WEF, and I knew of this wonderful world and this energy that's potentiating of women with the objective of women to grow, to develop themselves personally, working to empower women. And actually, it is really nice to be part of this and to do something else for women. And from then on, then we have another organization with leader women in the world for the diversity of topics, and we're working at all times to help women see how we're growing with the help of the others and the empowerment that we have and we get from others next to us. And what I say about generosity, that when the Minister of Economy will be the Minister of Economy in Dubai, helping the former president of another country, and I don't know, giving you all the knowledge. So this is something that is, the topic of networking is something good to overcome pandemic and life in general and the sustainable development. It is important. Thank you, Karim. Andrea, we go back to you to talk about that support among women. What can you tell women about that support? Do we need more support?
Por mi acaso,
In my case,
es importante que todas
it is important
amistades que tengo a mis papás,
all the friendships
mis
that I have,
hermanos que está
acquaintances, I have
viendo,
my father, I have my
yo me
siblings,
siento feliz, me apoyo, de
and I
verdad.
feel
Tengo
happy,
dos trabajos
and
que es
I have the support
increíble,
of my two
maravilloso,
jobs
y me
that
siento muy feliz, contenta
we feel
de
very
yo
happy.
soy
I feel
buena
happy, and
trabajadora.
I am
Y yo
a good
en fundación
worker.
eh,
And
eh,
at the foundation,
ya vamos, las empresas, llevamos 100 empresas,
we have
a 100
100
empresas. Y de
companies.
personas llevamos 750,000
And
personas
we have
discapacidad. Incluido
750,000
llevamos de 1,300 personas
included.
con discapacidad.
And we have
Y me
1,300
siento
people with
feliz,
disabilities.
me siento
And
contenta, gracias
I
por
am
este
very
foro
happy
especial y
to
gracias
be
por
part of
invitarme a
this
mí y a mi directora de
forum.
fundación
And
también.
thank you for the invitation. Thank you,
Todas las
Andrea.
personas somos muchas oportunidades y
We are
todas las
people with
personas con
lots of
discapacidad podemos
opportunities.
lograr a brindar
And as people
a todas
with
personas que puedan
disabilities,
contratar a trabajar.
we can give if we get hired. That is true. That is true, Andrea. And that job you're doing from Yo Puedo y Vos Foundation, let me tell you, and it is really good. Everything you're doing is really good. Luigi, as men, what can we do in this fight for the equality of gender in the companies? Okay, look, I am in favor for opportunities to be equal. It's not that we should have 5 men and 5 women in certain circumstances. I am in favor that the most competitive ones are in key positions. If it is 10 women out of 10, that'll be great, because women are demonstrating this competitivity. In Mexico, I was very surprised by the fact that 30% of households in Mexico are supported by women. So women, they should have 2, 3 roles and be mothers, and I love it. Of this capability they have to make things look easy that we can't even do ourselves. So the combination is perfect. And I mean, the emotional connection, and I believe the world had become an emotional world, and I see it in a forum. And you see, look at the perspective they have. So I am thrilled to have more women. I'm telling you, not 50-50, but if we have more women, I don't know, I'm working with JAFRA, this organization, and we see the competitivity, and we say, if it is 10 women out of 10 positions, go for it. Women are demonstrating great competitivity since school years. So that is something that catches my attention. I didn't have sisters, but I have a daughter, and I see the opportunities opening to her, and I'm very happy about that. Thank you, Luigi. And Mayela, talking about opportunities from the internal and external point of view, first of all, I would like to know, are more women necessary within finance? And on the other hand, is there more difficulty to women accessing loans in the banking area? Yes, no doubt. Financial world is a world for women that's in our country. Around 33% of the board of directors have women. It is a low percentage where we should have more opportunity for women. CEOs are very little numbers of women. We can count them with the hand. And worldwide, very, very low. 12% worldwide, we could say, but there's a lot of opportunity for those women to get in the financial world. But this is an aspect that comes from before because of the existing gaps in the subconscious. They perceive professions that have been boxed for women and boxed also for men. When we say a person who's teaching, we think about women who are teachers, or at a hospital, we think about nurses who are women. Those are the subconscious biases that are cultural situations. The same thing happens with the financial part. The STEAM part, we see that nowadays there is a great area for women to get into mathematics, financial areas, science. So that need for having this synergy of men and women in decision-making positions make us have the result to be more productive. And it has been proven that companies where there is more diversity in general, in gender, they produce better results. That is why from the trade chamber, we have seen that the board of directors since 5 years ago, it's an emblem that's created in 1915, founded by men. In 2016, we have the equal board of directors with a woman who's the chair named by the General Assembly. Since 2004, 2005, we had another president before. So those affirmative that before the equality of conditions in those candidates for a position, we're going to choose a woman, for example. Why? Because it is necessary in this transition to have equality, to have equal opportunities, to have those elements. And in the financial world in our country or in the world, like I said, there's a lot of space. Women are participating more and more. And we see elements like daycare. Why the aspects of business, we have more women than men. Nowadays, in universities, we have more women graduating than men. Why is it that those decision-making positions, those leadership positions are not given to women? Well, because we have several challenges because of the life and family to become a mother. All of that makes women to choose at some point. And sometimes choosing goes more to that exclusive activities instead of having the balance, the adequate balance in my life, which is something that I've done. I have to tell you, I can share that I am an accomplished professional woman as a mother as well, and being part of a family. Because there's a balance, I believe that's the key and the solution for that. But also the vision of companies to help with those pieces globally. And that begins today on me, because there are opportunities for women to make those decisions and these affirmative decisions, making things happen, helping the rhetoric, the discourse that we agree on these sustainable topics and saying, what am I doing for things to change? So that is the challenge that we have, in particular in the financial world. And the access topic to finance, I would like to know, before we move on, in the Grupo Mutual with specific projects for women, right? Yes, of course. We have this project that's called My Business, which is about giving access to credit, beginning with some studies in the populations of our country with vulnerable women, where we see what they are looking for, what are the values they have for the access to credit. And with this is that is called My Business. We have been sharpening it throughout this time, and we have this project or program for men and women as well that has been accepted, and we do have a that's marvelous. Grupo Mutual is moving 27% of family bonuses for housing in the country. Historically, Costa Rica has this legislation that's given the possibility for people to get partial or total grant to have access to housing with different programs. And the result of this, for Grupo Mutual, 55% of the family bonus for housing granted to women in the last 5 years have gone on that direction, which is valuable. Giving land to the name of women, we know that less than 5% of the land in the world is under the name of women. So this is taking the possibility and the incidence in the economical gap. Why? Because when the land is under the name of the partner, the man, the father or brother, they can't use it for business. And the fact of having moving these resources, and now that 55% of women having the house for their children under their names, with the possibility that after some time they can have it as the collateral for a business, personal business, that has the incidence that's strong in the economical situation for women, and reducing that in closing that gap, the economic gap that there is. And this is a project that Grupo Mutual have worked on sustainably in getting the results in the environmental, social, and financial area, which is part of the businesses. Every year that we see what's going on, one of the programs is that to grant housing. All right, thank you very much, Mayela. Yocasta, we go back to you. You said about your father's support. In a chauvinistic world, like in sports and specifically in boxing, did you feel the support from other women who were in boxing or not as much? And in that sense, congratulations as well, because I've seen that I understand your sister's debut tomorrow. So what sorority than that to support your own sister? But aside from that, what are the actions that you have in boxing to support them? Well, yes, support, which is important, supporting women, like Mayela said, with Grupo Mutual. Thanks to them, I have my own house. Thanks to them, that is a dream. That is something that you have to do to support women. And what else than supporting my sister? Let me tell you that I don't know if it is envy or different circumstances. Some women don't want you to improve. I don't know, the country. Mayela supported me unconditionally, and the support from sponsors, which is important for women who don't have the difference in the fights. So the cooperation is really incredible. The support from the sponsors is essential. What do I do to support other girls? Well, to empower themselves first, to say they can do anything they want. I cannot say that I am the best boxer or the best dentist if I am not together with a man, right? No. That is something embedded in education. So we have to change that mindset, that you can do anything. There are great positions, great women doing great things. Why can't I do that? So that is what I can do to empower little girls, so they don't say that this is a sport only for men. And well, right now in Costa Rica, we have one world champion who's in exercise is me. And they say, wow, if a woman can do it, I can do it, right? So with extraordinary results. It hasn't been easy, let me tell you, but not impossible. My sister's debut is tomorrow, and I'm thrilled. I will be there on her corner, definitely. To support my sister Naomi gives me the satisfaction for girls saying, her sister is there, I want to do that as well. And if I do this, since now I can be great as they are. Wow. Good luck in your sister's debut tomorrow. Karim, you were saying before about networking. The Harvard Business Review report shows the network for women leaders and men leaders, and they have more possibility to find and better paid positions because women give more importance to their education. So how can we help in this, in the sectors nationally or in the companies? I believe the fundamental thing is, let me tell you about my story a little bit. When I, I, I worked in the production, and I realized that my father worked in his business and half a day in TV. And then the work, I had this talk show I didn't like. It didn't give me anything, and I actually quit. And it ended up being something I didn't come back to more than 25 years ago. But life in a factory, fighting for the position that I wanted to move forward. And 3 years ago, a friend said, you should try this foundation and it'll help you step out and do other things. And today I'm the ambassador thanks to that work. And I met this group of people who make you realize that you have to modify your mindset. And working on your own square meter, you do a lot. Saying that there's a way for women, telling us that there's a lot that we can do for others. And I believe they were asking more for their space, and women, we're grateful and we're more generous with others, making sure the other person who's in front of us grows as well. But I believe it is very important to be aware. Personally, we train ourselves. I went to Egypt at Wef. To me, it was crazy. I have 3 small children. Well, that was 2 years ago, and I have never left home. I never traveled without them. I had to do it because it was good, and I was brave enough to do that, and from my knowledge, I believe the most important thing is realizing that we don't have to have fear of doing things, that we are capable, that we have to train ourselves in the capability of things. And all these networks generated for all these years. So I believe it is fundamental. I am a passionate of this foundation, and I have to tell you, it changed my life. I'm a passionate of Wef because Wef changed my life. I met women from the world, helped me growing. I'm a passionate of my network, and we're working with love for the future generations, for us to grow and to be sustainable, and for our employees to be better. I'm passionate about change, because in change we make a difference. So the most important thing is to do what you love and do it with passion. Because if you know about this. You don't know that you have this tool in finance, example, that from the Ministry of Production or banking areas that we have to ask for loans, they tell us to ask for them, but the woman or women don't have an idea they can do that. So it is fundamental to have that network. The network can help in connecting and making them aware that we have to communicate. And the tools that we have. And aside from that, that you have to be generous. Those women that we meet along the way, we have to be generous in helping them grow. So that is what I feel. And with the direction of Wef Colombia, that is what we want. We want to potentially for them to do things and to help other women. That is fundamental. Generosity of women, helping other women within their organizations. And we have less than 10 minutes, so we have time for a couple of more answers. I would like to be very specific with Luigi as expert in leadership. Are there any differences in leadership for men and women? Well, I believe we should have two questions. What is a leader? And what is a leader in society? After thousands of definitions, we find something simple. A leader is a person who's capable of influencing. And the second question would be canceled, because I don't think someone saying it's a boy or it's a girl, it's going to be a leader. No. So the challenge is there. How much are you developing your capability of influencing positively the people? So this becomes personal. I believe the challenge of all women is how can they build based on their personal characteristics, to their desires, their passion, something strong to impact themselves in the society. And at the end, what we need is people, women influencing a lot better as the world needs it in their environment. And since they are in interesting positions, let me tell you, they have to invest in the capability of influencing. So that is developing the capability of influencing to become better. Perfect. Thank you very much. Mayela is businesswoman in the chamber of the Trade Chamber of Costa Rica. Is there enough support to entrepreneur women? We do have this mentorship program that has been very interesting, is Women Helping Women, the business women in the chamber with more experience and trajectory. We train them as mentors, and they're going to mentor other women from the smaller chambers, the beginners, and there's this connection that has been marvelous, because it helps in the personal part and the whole experience in the business. And from there, everything that has to do with training in hard abilities. Through alliances we have with a series of companies to give them training, and then follow up through business women to acquire those knowledge, which is the part that we would say associated to the chamber. But this confusion with businessmen and businesswomen with more trajectory, helping other businesswomen. It has been an element that is an interesting one. We got it in 2021, last year, and that filled the space. We have, like he said, this help, the support among women is where 1 + 1 is more than 2. It's that sorority, it's that additional element where we have the common stories, we have the stories that are linking one to another. Training, for example, we have to give this. The entrepreneurs are available, so they should be with the cashier of the business, leading, organizing their business at the same time with a child, a family to tend. So this is an aspect where we need that preparation in acquiring those abilities that are needed, and we have little time. So the organizations and companies we have in this, we realize that we have to create those spaces, and the same as the daycare in the companies. We want to give that opportunity to leader women and to have these spaces, because leadership is something that we can work on and influence, and we can prepare to become better leaders. But then the organizations, the companies, we have to influence creating opportunities. Why? Because if we're not aware that we have that difference, making things different, World Economic Forum tells us that we have that gap, and we need to have the equal opportunities, and we have to close that gap. In the pandemic, this war, and other situations in the world set us back. So we have to be aware of that. From Grupo Mutual and the Trade Chamber, as companies, we have that responsibility of creating opportunities, and this is something that cannot just come up because it comes up, or thinking, well, each one is in charge of their own future. Each person is responsible, and they have to be responsible of themselves. And we have the countries with public policies creating opportunities for these women who are prepared, doing their homework, working in their circle of influence. They can, with those opportunities, access to leadership positions and reducing those economic. In the case of Yocasta that she mentioned, how come a world champion that we have and her income is so different than men in that position? So our point of view is not like men shouldn't have it or not. The point is why women don't have it. With that reflection from Mayela, our time is up. So we thank all of you for being here. Thank you. And we are preparing for the next panel.
Gracias a Daniel Sueras y a este otro grupo de extraordinarias mujeres que nos han dejado estos aportes importantísimos. Vamos a hacer una pequeña pausa.
We're going to have a small break. In 2 minutes, we're coming back with the last panel of this morning. Thank you.
Muchas gracias por continuar con nosotros aquí en el Wef Costa Rica 2022. Gracias a todas las personas que nos están siguiendo en la página web www.soymujercostarrica.com y a través también de la plataforma de Facebook y en nuestro canal de YouTube. Vamos a compartir algunos de los mensajes que nos han estado enviando y que han estado participando a lo largo de la agenda que hemos llevado a cabo esta semana. Rosibel Macís Redondo nos dice, me encantó, necesitaba esa inyección de fuerza en mi vida. Dios me las bendiga. Muchas gracias, Rosibel. Carolina Garbanzo también nos escribe, mujeres líderes, resilientes y dignas de admiración. Floribet Venegas también nos manda felicitaciones. Dice, excelentes motivaciones las de esta mañana. Sostenibilidad en mente a través del canal de YouTube.
In mind through YouTube says, when we feel inspired, we make fabulous change and we impact many people. Secretary of Management through YouTube, very nice chat. Thank you.
Eso, Andrea Leñero. Javier Leñero dice que
Andrea Leñero. Javier Leñero says, I'm proud of you, Andrea. Katy Sanchez is also congratulating. Inspiration, Andrea. Thank you for sharing your story. Rosa Mora Solano says, excellent. Thank you very much. And I finish with this comment from Natalia Espinosa.
Rompiendo techos de cristal con la gerencia general de una gran institución financiera del país. Felicidades y gracias.
Congratulations.
Estas son parte de las reacciones que tuvimos esta mañana del panel que acabamos de concluir. Y ahora tengo
reactions from the panel that just concluded. So I am honored to introduce you to this third and last block of the morning. It is Innovation Women Generators of Change for a Sustainable and United
Para eso
World.
tenemos el siguiente panel de líderes femeninos. Iniciamos con Ana Elena Espinosa,
Ana Elena Espinosa, who's a professor specialized in behavioral science, and she's a counselor, director of Prodeso.
También está esta mañana con nosotros Andrea Lara, quien es la CEO de Holcim Costa Rica
en Lafarge.
Además, integra este panel Michelle Miranda, encargada de estrategia y desarrollo del programa BN Mujer del Banco Nacional. También estará con nosotros Natalia Chávez, quien es asesora estratégica de la República. Y para moderar este panel, también es para mí un honor presentar a Andrea Corrales, quien es vicepresidenta de América Central y el Caribe de la empresa Huawei. Andrea, cámaras y micrófonos son tuyos.
Cameras and microphones, yours. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you. Oh, I have a little echo, so sorry. Welcome to all of you who are here in this last panel of the morning. So I hope we enjoy this. Liliana very kindly introduced our panelists. So aside from positions and the companies we represent, I would like my colleagues, Natalia, Ana Elena, Andrea, maybe we have this round, because I don't want to take the spotlight from you. Aside from the company, who are you? This is the challenge. Tell me your life story in 2 minutes. Okay, that's the challenge. Let's begin with Natalia. Hi, good morning, everyone. I thank the Women Economic Foundation, Alice, Soy Mujer, and everyone with us today, and these wonderful women who are here with us. My name is Natalia Chavez. I am from Guanacaste. I was born in Liberia, and I spent my first 17 years of life there. I studied at the school, high school. My childhood was very rural, and I enjoyed it, and I was raised in an empowered environment. My grandmother and my mother are my biggest role models. But also, since I was little, I had marvelous men in my life, like my father, who believed in me, given me all the opportunities, and we have never had this difference in the opportunities my brother had or I had. We have been this family where women are the same as men. At the University of Costa Rica, I studied economics, so I came to live to San Jose since very young. I started working in the public and private sectors, being involved in the consultancy of environmental economy. After that, I lived 3 years in Canada, where I had my first master's degree at the University of Carleton in Canada, and I came back to Costa Rica and I got involved with La República, the company I'm still working at. La República is the business media that has been transformed throughout these years. It is a family business where I've had the opportunity of growth and where they have trusted in my capability, and that gives me security. In my first period at La República, I studied business administration, master's degree in INCAE, which is an institution I have in my heart. I had the opportunity after that to work with distinguished professors at that institution, with Arturo Cruz, who is unfortunately in 8 years of prison because of trying to dream of a better Nicaragua. But I've had great mentors and support in my professional career. I am also a mother of a marvelous 4-year-old boy, and he is my greatest happiness and pride. He's my inspiration for wanting to have a future that's more sustainable, more prosperous, and more inclusive and solid, with solidarity, allowing him to be an accomplished person, to be happy, an aware man, helping women to have the same opportunities we have now. Thank you, Natalia, for telling us your story. It is very difficult to summarize your trajectory in 2-3 minutes. You did really well. Things you mentioned, I would like to highlight. You said that this topic about men and how your father supported you and such, because unfortunately, there's an F word. It is not a bad word, okay? You think in English, but no, it is feminism. People are panicked about that. It is not well regarded. That is an F word. Like we declare ourselves feminists. They say you hate men and they're burning underwear on the streets and you're throwing things and you hate men. No, and that is not like that. Feminists, we are people looking for equality. And I rescue what you said, the better world you want to inherit to your son, and the example from your father. And you said, oh, that is really nice. And that is my case as well. At home, we never had a difference between my sister, my brother, and I. And I believe that was your case. And that is really good that you're reproducing that in your home, because that is how we change things. And that is how we are going to accomplish equality from homes, from our homes. And we will have Ana Elena Espinosa. Ana Elena, if you can introduce yourself in 3 minutes, please. Sure, of course. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the organizers of this invitation from Nuria Marin to be here with you. It is a pleasure to be here with you. And in this case, I can tell you I'm Mexican, and I have always dedicated myself to work. I've worked with people. I'm a specialist in adult education, and I've worked in human resources, working with people, and in development topics. And for more than 10 years, I am consultancy and facilitating change with people. And about a personal story, I come from this family where I'm the eldest. I had the challenge of being the eldest. We believe it is a privilege. It is, but it is a great responsibility. And something that marked me as a woman throughout my career, and I would like to highlight, is that things my father said, he was very demanding with me, and he said, I want you to study to prepare yourself, and that you don't have to depend on any man. It is really strong. Now that I repeat this and I think about it, he said, I want you to be with a man for love, not to be in a relationship just because that person is the provider in your life. So I believe that is something that I had throughout my life. And, you know, I've been frightened not to be self-sufficient. So it has to be with leadership, because of empowerment to moving forward when we feel we're not strong enough. The price we have to pay to be free is to be self-sufficient. So I believe that is something that marked me throughout my life, and I am this woman. I'm an accomplished woman. I have a 7-year-old boy, and it hasn't been easy to combine family, the career, my son, working in different stages. That has been complex, but I feel I'm happy to share all of this with you. Thank you, Annalena, for sharing your story with us. We will go in depth. Let's talk to Andrea Lara. Hi. Good morning, almost afternoon. No, still good morning to all of you who are following us in this Women Economic Forum of Costa Rica. I would like to say hi to those women in the construction area, engineers, construction workers, women working in warehouses, all of you out there, I say hi. Before beginning, let me tell you, I am shocked and concerned about what's happening with Ukraine, and I think about what world we would like to leave for our young people. I have a 17-year-old son. I hope this is an isolated event and it doesn't escalate, so we don't have to be concerned about that. Well, let me introduce myself. I am Andrea Lara. You would notice that because of my accent, I'm not from Costa Rica. I'm from Chile. I am almost 3 years living here in Costa Rica. They're from Chile as well. Christian and Ignacio, I love you very much, and I hope you have a nice day. What's my story? Okay, I've just finished mixing some messages I would like to send to women with experience and women who are listening to us, because you want to understand how the world works in the working area for women. I'm a civil constructor. I'm a consultant. I'm a civil consultant for Holcim for 23 years. 21 years I was at Holcim, Chile, in Paico, and the rest of the years here. I studied civil construction at the Universidad Católica in Chile back then in 1990 something. I'm not giving you details so you don't count the years, but we're talking about this time where 15% of the list of students were women. I mean, the merits the university had to make this career attractive was just reporting 15% of acceptance of women. Nowadays, that percentage increased. I'm basing myself on data that I have from Chile, but let me tell you, this is transversal in Latin America. That percentage of 15% had surpassed 200%, which is really good in two phases. The first one, we can say that those trailblazer women getting into the construction technical careers, engineering or construction, we have done it really good. And we have guaranteed that the market is interested in hiring more women. And at the same time, young women looking out for careers, they realize that there are working opportunities for them in this area. Now, on the point of view on how I built my career, I have to tell you that there are two topics that are the main ones. Not long ago, a colleague in charge of Jeanette, Guillermo, thank you for asking me this question, because it led me to have this response for you. He was asking, how do you do for your results to be so good and to be considered in a big company as Holcim, that's traditionally with the CEO of Holcim are taken by men. So I thought about that, and the main reason was I want to do things right. I want my job to end up being good. What takes me there? Detail. Given attention to detail. Women, we are really good at details, and we should take advantage of that. I'm not taking the time. I'm so sorry. You tell me if I'm extending myself. Let me tell you, you're reaching to the end, because it is very interesting what you're saying. Okay, let me close my idea here. Why just to compete and not to complement? We're good at analyzing details, and we can then create intelligent proposals because we're good at management and direction, but not only to compete, but to complement. That's what I have to say. Well, I'm very pleased to say that we have women with leadership moments in the industries that are traditionally for men. In your case, in construction, I love that you described yourself as a construction worker, or in my case, in telecommunications. And this sector is many others. Just these three are examples of many others where the amount of men, even now, and I believe things have improved since the university years, we have the presence of men. But we will talk about that. We have the last panelist. Michelle, could you introduce yourself? Yes, thank you very much, Andrea. It is an honor for me to be here with you, with inspiring women and so many people following this event virtually. I thank you very much. Let me tell you about my life story, my experience. Today, I have the opportunity that with my work, I can make an impact of 1,200,000 women in Costa Rica. And let me tell you, this is a great opportunity, and that takes me to give my best every day. Where do I come from? I am from the Desamparados. Let me tell you, my mom, Shirley Fallas, she was the pioneer because she was the first woman in working in the presidential security body. And that was inspiration, because this is a non-traditional field. This is a field where I saw that she had to face many challenges. I saw that since I was young, and that was an example. My father, on the other side, he was a tour guide, and he taught me to love my country. He taught me that Costa Rica is wonderful, and to be able to work and to do something for this country? Well, I had the opportunity to study my professional career with a scholarship. Let me tell you, I am very thankful for this opportunity. I studied at ULACIT. I am graduated from ULACIT. I studied at the Monsignor Zanabria Vocational High School in the Desamparados, and there I studied accounting, and that helped me work at the Banco Nacional de Costa Rica institution. I've been working for 14 years at Banco Nacional now, and let me tell you, it's been a great opportunity for me professionally to be able to meet people from many areas and to work from in different directions. And 8 years ago, I started working with micro and small businesses, and I fell in love with my job even more because I had the opportunity to know firsthand hundreds and hundreds of people that in every day they're looking for supporting their families with their own businesses. I've listened to people who are born with that entrepreneur chip and other people who are forced to find something to support their families because we don't have as many working conditions. So those are people who have demonstrated that every day they can move on, and this is so enriching for me. 4 years ago, I began working specifically in BN Mujer, and here I realized that in Costa Rica, we still have some gaps. The main gaps we face would be in economic participation and opportunities. And I realized that Banco Nacional was a financial institution with that responsibility, huge responsibility, and this commitment of supporting these women to take on their plans, their dreams. And that is why I realized that there's a lot to do. And it's been inspiring for me to work with these opportunities of these women and the opportunities of business, to give these opportunities of networking and exposure. And it's been enriching for me. Aside from that, I realized that throughout those years, I've been able to learn and grow professionally a lot. But maybe we wonder how these opportunities come. These opportunities come. But I believe that we have to be the creators of those opportunities, and ourselves, we should have the opportunity to exercise those leadership positions. Why? Because suddenly we should listen to some voices. Statistically, women doubt by saying, am I that person who should have this responsibility? But it is there where we have to believe in ourselves, in our transforming power, and that we can have that input for our country. And something that resonates on Emma Watson, who's the activist in gender equality and actress, she says, if it's not me, who? If it is not now, then when? So we shouldn't doubt ourselves. We should believe that God gave us many opportunities to work and to put them to the service of people who need it. Thank you very much for this space. Thank you, Michelle. And I introduce myself now, and let me connect to what you said. I believe, and I agree word for word what you said. We have to search for opportunities, and that is how I describe myself. I am a struggling woman, something that we say in Costa Rica. In any job, I believe I am a hardworking woman. I am in the communication and marketing area as profession. I'm in a masculine world like telecommunications, and I've had the opportunity to be the first 2-3 times to be the director of Huawei, the first women, the first woman in vice presidency position for this last 2 months. And that's a trajectory, opportunities. We have to search for opportunities. It is essential. And another advice from Michelle is believing in yourself and saying, well, why not me? Why another? Why not later? Why now? Why not now? Then we're friends now. We know each other. And well, I would like to say, I have the first question. We have no order. The idea for this is to have a conversation among friends, okay? So we are in different leadership positions. We have faced different challenges, I'm sure. Who would like to tell us what are those 2, 3 challenges that you have faced and how you dealt with them? Okay, I can begin if you want. Go for it. All right, thank you. I begin because I would like to link the topic that I left behind. And it is, what's our challenge? How do we do? It is to know what we're good at, and then where we can give our input. From my perspective, women, we have, like I said before, we have this observation power, which is significant. And I would like to quote this regarded writer from Costa Rica, Mrs. Arabella Salaverry, who last month, I believe, won this national award in Miriam Gonzalez. In a radio interview, she self-defined herself as a woman with not great imagination, but she was a great observant. She was observant to details. And based on that, she could create her novels, her narrative, and her poems. And that matched with what I think. I think that we have to take advantage of the capability we have. And if you allow us, if you allow me, a story from the caveman ages. They had to observe every detail, where stone 1, stone 2, where the fire was, where the children were, where the old people were. It was the woman in the cave. She had to pay attention to details. And men were outside in their hunter's role, were looking for food. So, dear women, don't be stressed of listening to them asking, love, where are my socks, right? Because that is what happens. And I believe in this, in the combination of 2 things. One, to be able to guarantee that women shouldn't be competing, but to complement in the working world, in the construction sector. For example, in my case, used to male presence, but then we are capable of having this healthy competition, but in complement from the society, looking for the teamwork. Okay, but you didn't mention what's the greatest challenge. Finding what I was good at. That was a challenge within the positions I have worked in, engineering, sales, in the study of projects. When I discovered the special projects world, where it is necessary to assess the sock that the foreman has to wear because of the geographic area, or you're going to have him placed somewhere. What else better than a woman taking care of those details? Sure, of course. That's an excellent. Sorry, sometimes I hear my own voice. But it's an excellent observation, what you're saying, Andrea. Sometimes we think that we have to compete with men or to be the same as them. But no, the wonder of teamwork is that they give some things and we give some others. Companies with men and women in direction positions are better because both genders we give more. So who would like to tell us about those challenges? Yes, I would like to. Of course, go. I would like to tell you about my story. When I started my career, I haven't experienced the difference between men and women, but I just simply worked enthusiastically with women. And the first thing that something resonated in me, and I found out that I had this challenge. 3 people from the same era, we were promoted and we were called out to get this announcement that we had a promotion, and they wanted to congratulate us. And the president of this area, he said, I have the honor to tell you that you have been promoted to managers, the name of this man, and licensed this, and then Mrs. and the name of the woman. He said the license and the name of the man. He didn't say so in a bad way. He just did it because that was the norm. But I said, why is he the licensed and I am just the Mrs., right? We had a good role. And then I realized that it was a silly thing. It looked like just a name, but many people would see it that way. And they would see it as the man and the Mrs. But it was not the licensed woman in this position. So there I had that resonating. And throughout my career, I realized that women face many challenges, not necessarily having to do with the company, because the company gives the guidelines and they give the same opportunities, but what is surrounding us. And I had the opportunity to find that when you get pregnant and you're still working, obviously, they seem happy, but from the very beginning, they take for granted that you're not going to be the same, that you're not going to work the same. And you commit, I believe, 4 times even more than a man. I lived that. You sacrifice many things, saying that I'm going to demonstrate that with a baby, without a baby, I'm going to be the same and I'm going to do this. And after motherhood, actually, many opportunities came because you empower yourself and you demonstrate that you can be the same as a man. So I believe challenges have to do with social paradigms, but in inner beliefs that you have to demonstrate things. And it is an external beliefs and inner beliefs that you have to break to bet on yourself. And just like that, many other examples throughout their careers. I don't know your experiences, but something similar, I believe. Those are strong things within ourselves, but in the context. It is very interesting, something that happened to me, many things. In the first stages of your working career, when you're young, they say that they see you like you're not enough, and even though you go with a colleague who's a man, they assume that he is your boss, and that happens when you're younger. But I don't know, when you have the trajectory and things are facilitated, but given these first steps are very difficult. I have had to be assertive, like we say in Costa Rica. I've had to set my foot down in working meetings. Not now, but at the beginning, because you're beginning before they know you. That is very difficult. And those are micro-chauvinistic behaviors that we have to get rid of, like that story. And I understand your story. I feel you, because a man would say, how sensitive you are. You're getting the promotion, right? But those little things, why the licensed and the missus, right? That's something in there. So I believe all of us have dealt with that. I don't know if you would like to add, Michelle, Natalia, but I'm going to change the question to you because I'm getting a little stressed out with the time. We could have 3 hours of this conversation, but I'm going to give you the second question linked to what Ana Elena said, that we're dealing external challenges, but inner challenges. We're famous because we are self-sabotaging and we doubt ourselves. Have you had that experience? Well, if you want, I can begin. Go for it. Yes, of course. One of my main opportunities of improvement is to learn how to deal with failure. And even though you know failing is the only way to improve for women, I believe, it has been always more difficult. It is curious with the failure in Combalis, for example. There are different stories of people failing who have made mistakes, and they have made mistakes because part of innovating is about taking on risks. And that idea is different from what we see in Latin America. And that opportunity of seeing failure as something good, to me, it has been complex. And I believe it is. I'm not the only one, because numbers indicate that women, we tend to judge ourselves stronger than men. When a man sees a work opportunity, he believes he is capable of doing that. For women, it is difficult, because since we are little girls, we have been taught to be fearful of making mistakes. And this comes linked to, since little girls, we're educated to have the safe games, we have to be well dressed, that we cannot get dirty. And there was this Encanto, this movie from Disney, because the sister of the star, who's always perfect, she has to learn that nobody is perfect in this world. Nobody is perfect, because of this fixation on perfection leads people to not being happy, not to risk, not to take in risk, not to innovate. So I believe that this is a cultural change that will take years. And all women, we have to break those inner barriers. And at the end, it is the key to foster innovation, entrepreneurship, giving us the strength to keep on taking risks. And linked to the other question that you asked, Andrea, for women, and my main challenge personally is about that difficult balance that we have to have between family, home, being a mother, being a worker, being successful in our work position. So the key for me to accomplish this is one word: flexibility. Luckily, I have had the opportunity to working for a communication media with the DNA of women empowerment, giving voice to women, and we practice what we are saying. So that flexibility and the company have given, together with the support of my partner, who's a wonderful man, taking on his responsibilities at home, and that helps me have this difficult and privileged position in comparison to other women with the daycare or elder care responsibility. So that flexibility allows women to develop in leadership positions in the working market. I agree. Thank you very much for your participation. Michelle, would you like to add anything? Self-sabotage, external beliefs. Well, identify myself a lot with everything you have said, because the two biggest challenges I have identified throughout my professional career has been that I have to take on great responsibilities being very young. At some point in my life, I had to sit on work tables with men who are older than I was, and I had to make my voice count. That was the challenge, and that is linked to the self-sabotage that we were talking about, the power that we have to believe in ourselves. To believe in ourselves makes a difference in those work tables to make your ideas worth. When we have inner voices or external voices saying, no, I can't, that has been done, then to believe in our ideas and that we are in that constant evolution to be able to make our ideas plausible. And the other challenge that I've had in my career was the moment I became a mother, like you said, at some point, and I identify myself with Ana Elena, that at that moment, my child is 2 years and 4 months old. Ariana, when she came to my life, it was just a transforming moment for a woman in many ways. And the challenge was to balance the professional life that you are used to. Now, this new person in the family depends on you. And of course, at that moment, we have a very important role for that tribe we're surrounded by. I have this blessing that my husband is taking on his fatherhood and helps me with that balance, taking Ariana to good standing. I have my family supporting me as well, but this has made me think about that, because I know that not all women have this opportunity. I know many women have this load. And what happens? This caring tasks, taking care of your home, they're not paying for that. So that could be time for you to learn to find a job or to develop yourself professionally. So here is where the society has that challenge to support women, understanding the importance of having the raising of human beings in place and to have ourselves that power and to get rid of self-sabotage, guilt, being a bad mom, not dedicating enough time to your children or not, or it is important to find a balance in your life and realizing that we need to separate the professional time from the personal time. So definitely, those are two big points that I agree with you. Let me ask another question, which is related to what we have been talking about, to the level of family, friends. At some point that you had to deal with any comments, like grandma used to say, either you work or if you're at home, you can't do both. You're going to neglect your child or you're neglecting your husband, like old women used to say before. Have you had those comments? Well, let me quote a renowned psychologist, Pilar Sordo. At some point, a journalist asked her, I assume that because you're a leader, you had to leave aside many important things like your family. And she said, would you ask that question to a CEO man from a multinational company? Of course not. Of course you are not. Because we have the bias that women are responsible of taking care of the family. I have just heard my colleagues, and they're here. I'm here because we have a man and a family understanding that the work in the house and the work in the family is together. Otherwise, we couldn't do it. And with that, I also would like to link to the last thing I heard regarding opportunities at work. It is a message to my CEO colleagues. When we want to have gender equality, I believe that doing it at the moment of having quota for having women in these positions, that is not giving us anything for free, because we have the comparisons. People saying, you got the position because you're a woman. Let me tell you, Costa Rica, how we do it in Wholesome Costa Rica. Not only Costa Rica, but in Wholesome, at the moment of having all the candidates in the pre-selection, we have 50% women, 50% men, with the same capabilities to opt for that position. Then we grant the position, not because of quota. It is the candidate with the most appropriate abilities to develop that profile. So my message here is, let's open up the spaces in the work area, not to have quota, but merit. Yes, in my case, just like Andrea mentioned, I've had the support from my family, supporting me to study, to develop myself professionally, to continue growing in many areas. And just like I said at the beginning, this happened because I grew up in an empowered women environment. My grandmother had to face different times. She was the first dentist in Guanacaste. She chose this career that women don't choose. All her sisters had studied to become teachers, and in the middle of her professional career, her father said that it would be better for her to stop studying dentistry and just to study like her sisters to become a teacher. She did it. However, despite she had to deal with two careers, she had to insist, and they allowed her to graduate from dentistry. And it was a social change and a good work in Guanacaste as dental professional. So this reflects how times are changing. Nowadays, women, we have more opportunities to study whatever we want, whatever we like, and to do whatever makes us happy. And there are many challenges ahead, but we have moved forward and we're on the right path, I believe. In my case, it has been all the country, because my partner is always supporting me to develop myself in the professional area. He is from Ecuador, and I remember one time when we went to the consulate of Ecuador, we were looking for the Ecuadorian residency, and the consul says, you wouldn't be able to work for 2 years. And then he said, no, that is not possible, because she is more intelligent than I am, and I'm not going to stop her in her professional development. The first thing is not true, because he is a brilliant man, but I didn't have to face this comments, but support from my close people close to me, and feeling safe, and to leave guilt aside, that because of my professional development is not there. Yes, just to clarify. Oh no, I'm not asking how you're balancing those things. No, I'm not asking that. My question was actually, if you had dealt with those myths, those questions, and you mentioned your case in Hollywood, that is something they're facing. Women actresses had this moments where women, we have to make a difference to make ourselves respected and validated. But our time is running out. I had 4,500 questions for you. So I would like to close here, just like having this order, a message for all women who want to grow in their careers and to take on leadership positions, dealing with fears, self-sabotage, and the sabotage, something coming from within and from the external factors. So who wants to begin? I would like to give this message, to take the first step outside with that inner power they can have. We all have this inner power. What we have to do is to believe in ourselves. We have the responsibility at some point that we have to believe we're capable of doing that. That's why we're having this opportunity. If that opportunity doesn't come to us, we not only have to find it, we have to create it, because we're capable of finding our own opportunities and developing ourselves professionally. It wouldn't be easy, but we all have amazing capabilities to take on those opportunities or to create them. And something important, which is that along that way, not everything is going to be success. We'll have many failures, and we should be proud of those, because failures are the accumulation of experience impulsing us to reach that thing that we really want. So let's believe in ourselves and making a difference for us to contribute to our society with all the things that we can contribute. So go on. Excellent advice. Let's summarize the 5 tips this panel is going to leave everyone, men and women, with. First thing, believing in yourself. Another? Yes, another tip, and I love what Michelle said, because the tip in retrospective, what I would say, with all the experiences, enjoy your work, enjoy your talents. Sometimes we're concerned about growing and succeed and finding the opportunities that we forget about enjoying that. In my experience, the most satisfactory opportunities were those I was not looking for. But when we're enjoying more and that we're passionate about, we are transmitting that and people capture that. And you grow because you're developing your talents to the maximum. And I believe we are concerned about how they're seeing me, what are the opportunities, my family supporting me, not supporting me, what are they thinking about me. And we're under pressure from the environment supporting us, and sometimes they don't or they critique you. So we have to enjoy. And I would recommend you to enjoy all your roles more, your work, the work you do, and making an impact on the lives of others. Like Michelle said, I believe it is very important. Our role as a partner, as a mother, I believe in that. If I could go back in time, I would enjoy it more. And the recommendation I would give you, to be more assertive. Sometimes women, we have a hard time in being assertive. Andrea said that she had to have her step down, to have her foot down, and it is important. Sometimes we understand this the bad way. Sometimes we're frustrated after a meeting or something like that. So I believe women, we need to not to get to this point. Why did I say nothing about that? So my two recommendations. Excellent. Really, really good. We have Natalia and Andrea. I believe that once we take down those barriers that Michelle was saying, it's the first step. We should be aware that we are going to find people in society who have not surpassed those biases, and that they're going to have this ceiling. Laura Chinchilla says that we all have this revelation moments where, despite we have never faced something discriminating us because of being women, we have to be strong enough to stop that person and move on. So, in my case, that happened to me years ago, that I was in a family environment and we were selling a property, and they were asking me, where's your husband or where's your father to help you? And I said, are you closing this business with me or not? So we should be strong enough to face this gender bias that we still have, and to believe that when we take on leadership positions and we would break these glass ceilings, like Andrea with the CEO at an important multinational, Laura Chinchilla, who was the first president woman in Costa Rica, and in the case of Laura, she is an example. We're going to be judged under other standards, not to let this take us down and not to be an obstacle for our development. And finally, I believe that despite we are paying attention to detail, like Andrea was saying, women, we do have this extraordinary capability of fighting, and the only fight we shouldn't stop giving is not fighting for our dreams and to develop fully in our personal and professional areas. Thank you very much, Natalia. And the last one with you, Andrea. I agree with several things said here. The first thing is that, yes, I enjoyed the most. It has to be when we're not looking for them.
un resumen de mis consejos.
Let me summarize
Primero
my
es,
tips.
las
The first
mujeres no
one,
tenemos que victimizarnos.
women, we
Las mujeres
shouldn't be
tenemos nuestros
victims.
propios valores y habilidades
Women,
y
we
tenemos
do
entonces
have
que
our
encontrar en qué
values and
somos
our
buenas,
abilities.
en
We
qué
have to find
capacidad
what we're
podemos y en
good
qué
at.
habilidad somos las mejores,
What's the
donde podemos
capability
vivir
and
entonces
abilities that
no
we
solo, y
can
aquí viene mi segundo
have.
consejo,
And
competir,
this
sino
is my
también
second
complementarnos.
advice,
En
not to
el,
compete,
en
but
el
complement
grupo
each
de
other.
liderazgo
In
de
the group of
Wholesome Costa
leadership
Rica,
at
de 5
Wholesome Costa Rica,
profesionales, 3 somos
5
mujeres.
professionals.
La
Out of
CFO,
5 professionals,
Dolly,
3 we are
la gerente
women. CEO,
del área legal, Ivania,
the legal,
y yo. Entonces,
the
tenemos
legal
el
part,
60%
Ivania,
del
and
grupo
myself.
de liderazgo
So we
de
have the
Wholesome Costa
60%
Rica.
of
Y aquí viene mi tercer
leadership
consejo con
in
esto.
Wholesome Costa Rica.
Mujeres
And my
que
third
crean
advice,
en mujeres.
women,
Esto
believing
sería por
in
mi
women.
parte.
That would be all.
Bueno, excelente conclusión.
Excellent
Para cerrar,
conclusion.
hago
So
una
on my end,
recapitulación de todo lo que
I
hemos compartido por acá en
just
el
summarize
consejo.
everything we have
Uno, creer en uno
shared.
mismo,
One,
definitivamente.
believing in
Segundo,
yourself,
disfrutar el camino
definitely.
y ser
Second,
activo.
enjoying the
Tercero,
road and
fortaleza,
being
enfrentar
assertive,
los sesgos de género, no rendirse.
having the
Cuarto,
strength
encontrar en
not
qué
to
somos
give up.
buenas, no
Fourth,
pretender
finding what you're good at,
sino
not to
complementar.
compete, but to
Muchísimas
complement.
gracias a mis
Thank
colegas
you
por su
very
participación el
much.
día de hoy. De
I'm
verdad ha
thanking
sido
my
un
colleagues
honor estar con
for
ustedes
their
en este panel.
participation. It's been a
Y
pleasure
pues,
to have this
ahora sí,
panel.
volvemos con Liliana. Muchísimas gracias.
And we go back to
Liliana,
Liliana. Thank you,
Muchas
Liliana.
gracias, Andrea, a vos por
Thank you,
este
Andrea.
maravilloso panel con el que cerramos
And
esta primera
thanking
sesión
this panel
del día 2
that we
del
close
Wef Costa Rica
the first half
2022.
of
Voy a
Day
compartirles
2 of Wef
algunos
Costa
de los
Rica
comentarios que nos han
2022.
estado
Some of the
enviando
comments
a
that we
través
have
de las plataformas,
received
las personas que nos
through
están
our
siguiendo en
platforms
forma virtual. Mariense
virtually.
Santeño, saludos
Mariense
desde el Comité
Santeño,
de Género de
greetings from the
Tarrazú.
Committee of
Excelente las
Gender
participaciones.
in Cope
Saludos
Tarrazú.
a todas las
Excellent
amigas y amigos allá
participations.
de Tarrazú.
Greetings
También
to everyone in
Georgiana Reyes
Tarrazú.
dice,
Georgiana
excelentes
Reyes,
panelistas. Saludos.
excellent
Hermosas
panelists.
historias
Greetings.
inspiradoras
Beautiful
de
stories,
grandes
inspiring
líderes.
stories
Y
with
además
great
nos
leaders.
escribe
And
Patricia Sandoval,
we
quien
have
dice,
Patricia
buenos días,
Sandoval
qué
who says,
admiración por
good
cada una
morning,
de ustedes.
admiration
Las
to each
felicito.
one of you.
A veces nos cuesta
Congratulations.
reconocer
Sometimes
nuestras
it is
capacidades
difficult
y
to recognize
virtudes
our
que desarrollamos cada
capabilities
día en diferentes campos,
that we
sea
develop
un
every day in
profesional o sean
different
técnicas,
areas,
en alguna
being
labor
technical or
con la
professional,
que nos
in
desempeñamos día
any
a
work we
día.
do
Muchas gracias,
every
Wef Costa
day.
Rica,
Thank you
por
very much,
recordármelo.
Wef
A
Costa
ustedes las
Rica, for
gracias porque
reminding
nos han
me about
estado
that.
siguiendo
Thanking
durante
you
estos
for
2
following
días.
us
Y
during
bien, de
these 2
esta
days.
manera cerramos
And
aquí el eje
just like
de
this, we close
empoderamiento
the
y de
empowerment
innovación
and
femenina que nos ocupó
innovation
durante la mañana del
axle
día de hoy.
that we had
Agradecemos
this morning.
nuevamente a
We
nuestros
thank
panelistas
again
y a los amigos
our
aliados de
panelists
Wef Costa Rica
and the
que han
allied
hecho posible este evento.
partners to Wef Costa
Queremos
Rica,
invitarles a que
making this event
continúen con
possible,
nosotros
and
a
we would
partir
like
de
to
las
invite you
4
to
de la tarde. Hoy
go
vamos a
back
reiniciar
at
a las
4
4 de
p.m.
la tarde
We will
y el
begin at
último
4
tema del que
p.m.
vamos
today,
a hablar, el
and
eje
the
temático
last
es
topic
salud y
that we will
bienestar.
have is health
Tendremos
and
3
wellness.
temas en
We will
específico.
have
El primero de ellos,
3
el
topics. The
equilibrio
first one,
óptimo,
the
salud
optimal
mental,
balance,
bienestar
mental
y
health,
desarrollo
wellness,
personal.
and
El
personal
otro de los
development.
temas es
The other one would
neurociencia,
be
meditación
neuroscience,
y sanación
meditation, and
alternativa
alternative
para
healing
una
for a
salud
holistic health.
holística. Y por último, tendremos
And
el
lastly,
poder
we
de
will
la
have the
unión y la
power
bondad,
of unity and
celebrando la
kindness,
sororidad.
celebrating
Estas
sorority.
son interesantes charlas que van a ser
These are
abordadas por
interesting
destacadas profesionales
chats that are
y
going
tendremos
to
además un extra,
have
una sorpresa para ustedes.
professionals. And
La
then we have
participación de
an extra
Marcia
surprise,
Saborío, esa gran
participation
actriz
of
nacional,
Marcia
y
Saborío,
también
the
Rachel
great
Araya,
national
esta
artist,
niña
and
fabulosa
Rachel
que nos ha llenado
Araya,
de
this
energía
wonderful
los 2 días al iniciar.
child,
Con ella vamos a contar también en
giving
la
us
tarde.
this energy.
Así
She
que,
will
de momento,
be with
los
us
invito a que
this
cada quien
afternoon.
se vaya a
So
almorzar a su casita y
I
los
invite you
esperamos
to
aquí en
have
la
some
tarde
lunch,
a partir
and
de
we
las 4
see
de
you
la tarde.
back
Muchísimas gracias.
at 4 p.m. Thank you very much.